Hello, my friends. Last night I did a 50-cent coin, 3 rows of them. Didn't find anything, but I did find out, or it was announced, that this will not be the last year since 2026 will be. They have enough for these to strike what they need, and from what I just saw online, they've struck about 295 million of the Philadelphia and about 350 million of the Denvers for 2025. So those cents are not going to be the last ones. But this, what I'm looking for is copper or wheat cents or foreign coins to be in there. Now, what I got today, I went by Menards, which is a home improvement place. I was looking at their ad. They had this multi-purpose survival tool. And I didn't know what it was going to be. When I found it in the store, I was a little bit underwhelmed by the size, but it does say survival card multi-tool. This tells you all the different tools that are on it. Small straight screwdriver, location hoe, side tool, adjustable spanner, emergency life rope, which that ain't rope, but I still has a knife on it, hexagon wrench, a ruler, bottle openers, large straight screwdriver, has a cutting saw, a hanging hoe, a can opener, and a twine knife. And on this, each one of these tells you what they are in relation to this. This thing was less than $1, and if you're out camping a lot, it's small enough you could throw it in a pocket and have it. It's made out of metal. I'm surprised they can actually make it for under $1 or sell it for under $1. Surely they didn't make any money, even though it is made in China. But we're gonna do a little silver university. So I go by my coin dealer. He ain't there. And hello, Kevin. Coin dealer isn't there, but he does have coins. And they have someone there to sell them for him, so even that though he wasn't there. Now, when I got this particular one, this 1908 Barber, it says as is $12. And mainly says that because it's worn. But this card needed another staple. The coin just falls out. And it so I could restaple it in. But 1908, it's Philadelphia. And I also bought this. This is barely worn, a little wear. Probably would be 12.4. Yes, John, if you have a quarter of a W mint mark, there's 2 years they did that, 2019 and 2020, and they put them in general circulation. I'm not really sure if there's any other West Point minted quarters out there at all, but there could be, I guess, maybe. But anyway, with these, you go ahead and flatten out the staples. I always feel like I don't have enough of these Benjamin Franklins. But at $12, it's only a few cents over melt, because the melt on these was like 11.93 or something, according to the melt chart. But here's the Silver University thing. Even if this wasn't worn much and say it was 12.4 and this is 12.4, it'd be 24.8 grams, give or take, for two of them, $1's face. And people talk about these dollar coins I bought that had the holes in them. Well, this actually weighs over 26 grams. And I bought two of them, and they were 52.4 grams, I believe, for total weight. This one's worn a little more. I think it was the lighter of the two. But I got them for $24, which this was 12, and that 1908 Barber was also 12. So that's $24. But in terms of stacking, those two are less silver because these start at 26.7. Even though they have holes in them, they weigh close enough to that kind of weight that there's more silver in this than these two $half. And the only $half that really bucked that trend, I guess you could say, is the capped bust and seeded halves, the early ones, because those start at 13 something grams. Actually, two capped buffs halves that aren't worn would be as much silver as what this started at, because they start at 13.3 something. But these only start at 20 or 12 and a half each. So the top's the silver for a dollar's face of, say, JFKs that aren't worn, that'd be 25 grams. And this one's over 26, or one of these two is. I think one of them's a tenth of a gram under 26, the other one's a couple over. But whatever, $1 of silver dollars is more silver than a dollar worth of 90% more modern ones like these. And yeah, 1908 is like 117 years ago. I think that's right. So, what are we going to do now? Remember, 2 50-cent coins are not as much silver as one US silver dollar, unless they're really old ones. Yes, Daniel Silver. So, what am I going to do with this barber half? Am I going to take this card, get it back in, staple it? First off, whoever put this in here, usually they put this at the top. Most people I know do anyway. Most of the coin dealers. This isn't the normal holder that he wrote out. My coin dealer writes with that handwriting. And he has a little code that somehow this tells him what he paid for it by looking at it. And sometimes if you're buying a silver dollar, he might knock it a little off if he feels like if you buy from him often, because he's done it for me. All right, you want an edible coin? This has chocolate in it. It would be edible. This, no. I mean, you could eat it, but it ain't gonna go through your system. All right, so now we're gonna do the scent roll hunt. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this stuff a little bit so I can settle down this. I'm gonna have to go ahead and move this and pull these out of the way. And this stone's gonna have to move because I'm gonna put this here, coin glass emerald green, which is kind of a nice color. I really like it. Put that poker chip back and start this. So again, what am I looking for? I am looking for copper cents, 1981 or older, wheat cents, or a foreign coin if it's in here, like a Canadian cent or Panamanian or any other world coin that could possibly be in a cent roll. And by the way, if you didn't hear the news, the U.S. Mint is going to stop making these cents in 2026. They have enough to hold them over till then. So 2024, 1997, 2024. That won't be the last year, but it probably will hold it for now. Although, since they've already made 295 million of these, well, actually it's 2025, not 2024. What am I talking about? I do have a 2025 over here, a few of them that I found in my change. But with 295 million, they're not going to be collectible, I don't think. And that's probably our, nope, no copper ones yet. Last 3 rows I searched, I got more copper, like 10, over 10 each time. Not off to a very good start on this one. 2022. That one might be copper. It looks like copper. 1977D. So I found the first actual copper cent in this row. It's 85. About 20 coins into this row, and I've only found 1 copper. That's not very good. Hopefully it'll redeem itself and give me something cool like a wheat cent. Well, the date on this is so mucked up, I can't read what it is. I think I see a 6 on there. Actually, I think this is corrosion on this. I think it's a 1986. It's 1998, 2020, 1995. 3 more brand new or nearly brand new ones. 97. Well, this is turning out to be a pretty bad roll, actually. 1 copper cent in it. And I had been getting the last 3 of them. I got 12 out of 1, 13 out of 1, and 14 out of 1. And I've only got 1 this time. Well, I did get another one. Copper. $1967. These are worth about 3 cents in copper almost. I'm trying to fill a coffee jar full of them. Hopefully I start getting some more real quick, because there's a 73. Otherwise, this has been a pretty bad row. 2024, a couple of 1987s, 2000, 2000. God, that's hard to read. 2018. See if I can tell what this is. That's 2000 something. All right, so I got 3 coppers out of this, which isn't real good, and I got about 7 coins left to go. I can tell a few of them are newer. 94. That other one that fell wasn't copper, I don't think. 2023 isn't. That could be. Nope, 83. 80. A 1970D and 2 2024s. So I got a grand total of 5 copper cents out of this row. So all these will be going back to circulation, and these will go in my coffee jar. Which, where is that thing? God, it's pretty heavy. I don't know. It's a 7-ounce coffee jar, and it's about at least 2/3 the way full. So I've got a few others I found in my change over the last week or so. So that's going to go into that eventually, but not right this second. Sometimes when you get a row of coins, you don't really get what you want. And these, they're all going back into circulation. But to go back to this point, $12 and $12. $24. More silver than both of these will have. more silver in this than what these started with. They started with 12 and a half each, or 25 total. This started at 26 something, and now is, well, 26.7 something. It's 26.2, I think, somewhere around that neighborhood. This one's right at about 26. They almost weighed the same, and together it's 52 point. I think it's 2 grams. So if you had $2 of these, you'd have 50 grams if they weren't worn. $2 this way, you have 52 grams extra silver. Now I did go by a Coinstar yesterday, and they had several cents that were like stuck together with glue or something. But a couple weeks before that, I got this one out of the Coinstar. 1954, it's silver. And see how that kind of looks compared to a copper nickel one. The overall color on that's a little different than the silver is a little different. I mean, and I've had coin dealers tell me they can kind of smell something on the silver. It has a distinct smell to it, but I don't know. But anyway, you don't always get what you want when you coin roll hunt. Lots of people do coin roll hunts. They like to get 50-cent coins, which, because of how little they get circulated, might be your best option. I mean, this, I would have to have literally billions of these to make any money, because they're only worth 3 cents a piece. And so at the copper weight, almost. So this is probably about 14 cents a copper in 5 cents. But the only way, you know, copper's going to go up some. Yeah. Well, it has a smell to it. Do I have an Ike dollar around here somewhere, but it's not silver, but I don't know. It does seem to have some kind of smell to it, but I don't know. Well, this is a modern dollar coin that is plated with something. I don't know what it is. It's not gold, and it's not worth anything but $1. Do I have an Ike dollar handy at all without digging? Well, I can't say for sure, but since these quarters here all have the same smell, we won't get that penny out of there, or cent. These would smell like an Ike dollar that made out of the same material, unless they've been in something that gave them a different smell. They just smell like a metal. Oh, interesting. Anyway, if you can get a Peace dollar or a Morgan dollar that's damaged and hold out like this, sometimes coin dealers around here will sell it to you for near melt. It's better to buy this than 2 half dollars. It's going to cost you the same amount, or more modern halves anyway, in my opinion. Plus the fact that if you got silver chains and stuff, you can make pendants out of these, and some people might buy them to wear like a necklace. I don't know what other use you could do with them other than resell them for the silver weight later, because that's basically all they are, is just weight, you know, a certain number of grams of silver. And I've seen people take silver rings, sterling silver ones, into this jewelry guy I go to, who sells a lot of coins. He sold me these, actually. right at, actually a couple bucks under melt for the POFUB by their weight. But you don't get very much. Yeah, you could also use it as a key ring. That's another thing you could do with this. I have a key ring, and one thing is a dog tag from when I was in the service, and this that my brother 3D printed. Hello, bottle top. This is the Batman symbol. Like, he printed that, and I thought it was pretty cool. This used to have something attached to it, but it fell off a long time ago. But yeah, you could actually very easily work that ring in on the silver dollar and use it instead. But probably won't do that. All right. So I got 5 cents out of a whole roll of pennies that were copper. That's the worst I did out of the 4 rolls that I've gotten, because I got 12, 13, and 14 out of the previous 3. And I usually find in a week or so getting change back, 4 or 5 of these most weeks. But it's been about a year, maybe a year and a half of pouring 1959 to 1981 cents out of my change to fill this up. These are all copper. There are no wheat cents in this. And like I said, at recent prices, they're worth about 2.8 cents, almost 3 cents. And this thing is pretty heavy. And once it stops making cents, I think it would be legal if you wanted to melt them and make a copper bar out of it and then resell it, a poured copper bar. Or if you had some kind of neat little shape, you could make a poured copper skull or what, other designs. That might be pretty cool. But hello, John and Bottle Top Bandit. I actually had 2 different Johns, John Edward and John Shelton. But that pretty much covers it. And every once in a while I find a foreign coin that someone had in their change. This one come out of a Coinstar, so it's, I find Canadian often around here. Never found a Canadian silver one though, 80%. No silver dimes, no silver quarters. Just the more modern ones. And actually, if you get one of these in your change, you got a little bit taken, because this ain't worth, even if you took it to Canada to spend it, doesn't have the same buying power, because the Canadian dollar is worth a little less than the US. But the Canadian silver dollars, though, at melt recently, they're about almost 20 bucks. But I have some of them, and they're kind of a nice looking coin, but it is 80% versus US being 90%, so it made a big difference. But anybody else got any other questions before I bring this little live stream to a close? And been hoping to find a silver $half in coin row hunting. I had 3 rows yesterday, and when I did my coin row hunting, not one of them was silver. But I did go by the bank once and asked them, and they said, yeah, this guy come in with $14 worth of $half, wanted to deposit them. Teller told him, you got 264 Kennedys here. They're worth more than 50 cents. Said, I don't care. It's 50 cents. Deposit it. Because maybe he didn't know anywhere he could sell it, or he didn't think, maybe he didn't believe him. I don't know. But whatever. I asked to take the $14, got the 264s, looked through the rest of them, and there were 460s. which are 40% silver. At the time, I thought I got about $30 to $32 worth of silver just for asking, and the asking price being 50 cents a piece, because that's what they cost me to get it from the bank. I gave them $14. They gave me $14 worth of halves. 6 of them were silver. So I did well. It's the only time I've ever really gotten that kind of a score from the bank. Usually, I think most of the time now they just take the odd coins, throw them in their coin counter, and if it rejects it, like if they had Canadians in there, it would reject this. They either give it back to the person if they want it, or if they say I don't want it, they throw it away apparently. Which would be a shame if it's an actual silver coin, like an older Canadian silver quarter, which has to be, I think, 67 or older, and then it's 80% silver. It's worth a bit less than the U.S. quarter by melt, but it'd probably be $4 or so of silver in it today. But covered what I had to cover, and I'm hoping that everyone has a good night. The odds of me going live tomorrow, pretty low. Not likely to find anything in my change, or no coin dealer I know is open on Sunday. I mean, there is a place at our mall that has like a bunch of vendors who sell, a couple of them have silver coins, but they're usually higher. Yeah, when I saw this in the ad, I didn't know how big it was going to be. But it's got 14 little tools on it and you can carry it in your pocket. So if you camp out a lot, you might want it. They call it a multi-tool survival card. And it feels like it's made out of metal. And the fact that it was less than $1, I said, it's something interesting to look at and talk about. But in a pinch, this could help you survive if you're out in the, camping, and you don't have anything else with you except for a backpack and a tent. Or if you're just out hiking in the woods and you're like, oh, something happened, and then you need something like this. Although they called it, where is it? Emergency life rope. Oh, this isn't heavy enough rope to support weight, so you can't climb with it. And I really don't know what you would use it for, where it would be like survival. But I could see some of this other stuff being used. But I think with taxes, 59 cents total. I mean, something to talk about. But I'm hoping everyone has a good night. And I will talk to you again soon, I hope. And maybe I'll get a couple more rolls of cents and do another roll hunt. Well, have a good evening, Bottle Top Bandit, and thanks for stopping by. And for everybody else who stopped by, if you like the video or if you want to make a comment, I'm going to leave the video on my channel so you can watch. If you missed some, you want to watch more of it. But that's all I really got. So we'll see you next time.